Oh, what's up guys? This is lostgriff. Welcome back to another video. If you can already tell, I'm wearing the shirt. If you guys want to see the back real quick, here you go. We got the back on. Sheesh. They'll just be talking about my current thoughts on the character tier list. This is kind of like a end of season 3 kind of thing, where we're looking over like how this whole season has kind of gone, and in reflection, looking at the characters that were the best, and also kind of just preparing and seeing like how the meta shifts right before the new season, because we all know the new season is going to be huge for the game. A lot of people are hyping it up. It's, we had a long delay for it and everything. They've been very quiet about it. So I definitely wanted to, create some hype by just talking about how I think about the meta is right now before the new update releases for the game on the 31st. Because I think at this point, it's pretty safe to say there's not going to be another update until then, maybe another hot fix, but really nothing crazy. I took 5 panelists. So I have Davis, Skemor, Firepz, Costy, and Fatpac. Costy and Fatpac, not as prevalent, and also Costy is more of a twos player, but he's still a really great twos player and has a great opinion on ones historically. So he's been a really unbiased Batman player from my perspective, so I really wanted to ask him. Fatpac is just a really good Shaggy player who's been at the top for quite a while in the ladder. Really think he's a great player as well. Firepz, a top Marvin, no question. Skemor, a top Finn, no question. Recently placed a top 3. And Davis has just always been one of the goats about balance. And he thinks Finn is stronger than I think he is, but you know what I mean? Like, I still think Davis has really good takes in the game, and he never really has negative takes on the current state of the balance in the game. And yeah. And then I got the reasons and the prefacing out of the way. Let's just start, putting it together in order. So the first character I have at the very top of the tier list is Superman. I think he's arguably right now the best character. They kind of buffed him a little bit too much. And I mean, we can kind of see this with the placements. I mean, obviously there's some really good reps for them. Like Zay is a really good player, Anthos is a really good player, etc. But I mean, even a lot of the top Superman players can admit that they really overdid the buffs for this character. He's kind of ridiculous this patch, and doesn't really need to be this strong. So I think if they just tone him down a little bit, and maybe give him some more healthy changes, he'll definitely be in a much better spot. But there's really no argument to make besides the fact that Superman is pretty much the best character this patch. I don't know if he needs to be in his own tier, but it's pretty safe to say he's the best character. Next up, I have Finn and Harley. These two characters are kind of good for the same reason. They're just really, really good assassins with good combo game, good kill confirms, and both have pretty useful down specials for utility, and overall just have good utility for being assassins. They just have a lot of strengths, and the biggest thing I noticed whenever I was thinking about Harley and Finn and how they're kind of in the same, boat, they both just have very uncharacteristic, like, specials. For a long time, if you don't remember, Harley's down special was ridiculously busted and could just basically just be a free zoning tool on the stage of the whole game, when in reality she should be the combo and the kill confirm character. And it's kind of ridiculous, and they toned it down, and now they just toned down Gem, making it pretty much an only really situational disadvantage tool. Don't get me wrong, still Apple is really good, and people have been working on Apple combos and stuff like that. But I just think overall, ever since the changes happened to both these characters, they've really gotten more in the actual beatable tier. Because I do believe Finn and Harley, both in their own respects at one point, were pretty broken. But I think they're finally starting to tone down. They might need a few more nerfs, but overall, they're pretty fair in ones at this point. Next up is Batman. I mean, as much as this character gets nerfed, he's always been just such an appealing character for people to play. He's extremely fast. He's got that kind of Fox and Smash Ultimate kind of mentality where you just run people down, just crush them, and just make sure they can't do anything. And he just is the peak type of rush down. His disjointed hitbox has definitely gotten a lot more fair over these last few months and last few changes. And I do think, again, he is a lot more healthy than he used to be. Character's still really annoying to play against, will never change that. But I do think this character's saucy and people hate on him too much. And I also think he's top tier. So that's my thoughts on that. Next up is Rick. We know that Behands, aka the GOAT, hasn't been playing as much recently. There is still a lot of really good Ricks out there, like Wolfsight and like Dakoa and a few others, but again, a lot of them, since the player base is kind of dwindling down a little bit, there's been a lot of Ricks who have kind of not been playing as much, so it's hard to see them place as much as they used to. But this character is still so amazing, and it's not just Behands making it look like that way. There's plenty of ladder demons out there too. I think there's one guy named Ruthless as well. Again, there's just so many good Rick players out there, and this character just has so much potential, and we've seen it. It's just a matter of who's actually going to do it. Next up is Morty. This is entirely a patch thing, to be honest with you guys. Morty, this patch was just, I don't know what they were thinking. They kind of broke a lot of his hitboxes. There's a lot of other things about Morty that have become completely broken and really annoying to handle. As you guys have kind of seen in my recent ranked videos, dude, there's just these times where I can just casually have Morty players just like attack me from like 20 countries away. And it just makes no sense. The only thing that really doubts me on his strength is his placements, because nobody's really been playing him in one's brackets right now. But I still think, I mean, there's really no argument. This character is just amazing this patch. I'm honestly shocked there's not more people playing him in ones, at least, especially in tournament, because overall he's just crazy. I don't really know what else to say. Arya has always been a really questionable one because she does have insanely good passive gameplay, and overall does not play like an assassin whatsoever. She also does have some really good qualities in that she has just such a insane set of frame data that can just put together the most ridiculous combos ever. And I do think that at one point, people are going to realize that like her neutral and her combo game is a lot better than Finn's is, in my opinion. But that's a totally different conversation. Regardless, so the main reason this character is so high is because she has a lot of good matchups on the top tiers right now. Like for example, she's really good against Finn, because Finn kind of just gets out comboed by Arya, and every single time Finn tries to approach, realistically, you have to be like maximizing so much out of your exchange whenever Arya can kind of do the same combo but much easier for much more damage. Also, not to mention that, you know, even though her disadvantage is really bad, which is really, you know, bad against Finn, she still just has such a good neutral, such a good advantage. And Finns will notice themselves struggling a lot against players who are really good at using Arya. All right, Jake is still really arguable to be in the top dog tier, but I mean, again, even though they have still been placing really well, there's just, I mean, again, I haven't really been seeing as many Jakes recently. I don't know if it's been maybe just me, but I haven't seen nearly as many Jakes ever since the nerfs. Definitely people have been trying to play him more honestly and trying to actually learn the character instead of just skateboard to win. But again, still, skateboard is just literally one of the best moves in the game, arguably top 5 moves. Until skateboard is actually like a balanced move, I think this character will still be like the best in terms of like near the top tier, because there's a ridiculous amount of damage. It's a kill move. You can combo out of it. There's just so much shit you can do with skateboard alone that move entirely just puts him in this tier, no matter what else they nerf about him. Skateboard, and now that I think about it, side air just puts him in this tier permanently. Like, there's really no debate for that, in my opinion. Wonder Woman's up next. I think this character is always placed really well because of, you know, the GOAT key Wonder. Really, really good. You know, Wonder Woman, who's always showed how strong the character is, even whenever she was, like, you know, not as strong. But I just think until they nerf this character, she's always going to be really good. And still an insanely good pick in 2s, still an insanely good pick in 1s. And overall, just her matchup chart is really strong because she's kind of like a Rushdown who has really good abilities to counter projectile characters, therefore making her matchups against a lot of the low tiers really good. And she still has a really solid and mostly even matchups against a lot of the high tiers. She's just a really consistent and honest character. Now, talking about dishonest characters, LeBron, all right? This character is honestly silly because I honestly kind of consider this character kind of like the Shoto of this game, right? Not in that like he plays in Shotos, if you guys don't know, is kind of like Ken, Ryu, Kazuya from like Smash, and it's not that like his kit is anywhere similar to it, but it's just like, you know, you're gonna get kill confirmed super early against this character. If you're playing against a Ken, for example, in Smash, you know you're gonna die at like 100, right? And it's the same with LeBron. Like, dunk is so easy to confirm into. And another thing is kind of like in line with Shotos is that he has a bigger hurt box, and he also like definitely has really strong combo game that a lot of people have been showing on LeBron. So I just think his combo game and his kill percents are really early, but the main weakness about him is that he's very slow, doesn't have a bunch of mobility, and for sure does not have a small hurt box. So it's really easy to combo him, and he is quite heavy, but again, his early kill confirms and his good combos and his decent matchups against the top tiers really just show that he definitely is in contention for a top tier character. Shaggy's the next character. This character's always been good. People always hate on this character, but I think he should always have a place, you know, at the top, simply because he is the beginner character, so he always should have like at least in the, like some strength. Like if Shaggy was down here, like it would kind of suck because a lot of beginners wouldn't really be able to win. So this is a really good character to start out with, but also at the top level, he's also really solid. Despite having an easier, you know, fundamental kit, he still is really solid at the top and just really is consistent. People say he's, you know, a pretty honest character, and I agree with that. I don't think he's like a super dumb character. The only thing that's dumb about this character anymore is his down air. Like if they just fix his down air hitbox, this character could be I just have such a better reputation. People hate on Shaggy players so much just because of down air, which is just how it is. I don't know. I think this character is definitely the best competition for the top tiers right now. Out of like, because I think these, what would it be, 10? Yeah, these 10. Besides Superman, obviously, but these 10 have always been, people have always mixed up, should they be in different tiers or should they be up here? And I think these characters are better enough or have better enough players right now to be showing that they're the better characters, but these characters definitely can just overtake them next patch, even if they don't get any changes. Like, it's just the fact that nobody is really doing as much with these characters in comparison with these. So I think Steven is the best, you know, contender for all of these spots, because I think like he just has so much as a character, right? We look at Light Wisp, someone who doesn't even play the game consistently, even against characters like Batman. You know, he played against Paradox as Batman and went absolutely crazy, combo the shit out of him, was having a really good set, playing out of his mind, and just proved the fact that like Steven is so good in ones, but nobody plays him. And as a you know, as someone who loses this, like these really good Stevens online all the time, it makes me wonder like, why do people not play him more often? He's so good. He has a lot of strengths. He has so much, you know, potential as a high skill cap character in a general low skill cap game. And I don't understand why most people don't give him more of a try. I think if you're interested in this character, you definitely should try him out. All right, next up we got Bugs. This character is still really, really strong. I'm contending for the top right now. But the main reason that really stops this character from his, you know, overtake of the meta is definitely the characters. He definitely has a few really bad matchups at the top. His matchup against Finn is not the best. He does not have a very good matchup against Batman, I'm pretty sure. There's a few other characters that he just does not handle very well. He has great loops, and Streamline has shown how good this character can be with setups, but he just has a lot of flaws that are really hard to ignore. Next up, we got Stripe. The character that everybody hates but no one plays. This character is definitely still good and definitely could be in this area, but nobody plays him. I mean, this character is just so boring to play. You actually want to fall asleep every single time you're playing him. So of course, he's definitely going to be at the bottom of this tier because we all know that his kit is really strong and we all know that his kit has a lot of potential. The only thing that stops it from, you know, being more prevalent in the meta is simply because of just how little people play him. Honestly, I just don't see him played that often. So I'm almost tempted to put him down here just because of the play. Yeah, we'll put him down here just because of the players, but I just don't think people play him enough, honestly. Alright, comes a flaming hot take that a lot of players might not agree with, but I think this character is definitely in this tier. I think Gritaku and previously Grim showed like how good this character can be. Despite like how good he's still placing and how good he like people are still doing with them, people are still like forgetting that this character is definitely in this tier. Like he definitely is in the same tier as all these other characters because he's still able to take games off pretty much all of them. Like he has a good matchup chart. He has a few bad matchups that stop him from being the top of the top. And I think that's why he's not like over here or even here, is because he has a few bad matchups that really stop him from being like, you know, a really, really strong character. But like he still has everything you need. He has really good projectiles, really good kill setups, really good ladders, quite consistent as well, small hurt box. So many strengths about this character that like people ignore. Next up I think is Marvin. I think this character is also really strong. He has a lot of janky stuff this patch. His up tilt can kill very early. He has some really nice combos with button and side air. His kill confirms are actually not too bad. He's a good jab. He has a few wonky hitboxes this patch, but overall, he works out really well. I think he has a lot of good representation right now from the homie Firepz. If you guys remember, he was on the YouTube, I think, before. But overall, I think he's kind of showing how good this character can actually be. And the fact that, like, again, none of these characters down here you should really sleep on, honestly. Next up is Taz, who I actually think is probably around the same area as Marvin. FGC, Doom, and Ova have always shown how good this character is. He definitely has a higher skill cap than I thought. Based on my other video, I kind of realized that Taz is definitely harder than I thought he was. I mean, Taz just has so much problems. I mean, he's stubby. He's kind of a very one-dimensional character with his game plan. He kind of just wants to gimp you, but does it worse than Superman. Because a lot of people don't really favor playing Taz. And I honestly am in that same sentiment. I don't really like playing Taz at all. But I think there's a lot of people out there who are really committed to playing the character since the beginning. I mean, you guys remember over 9K on the channel. People just really committed to making this character something crazy. And I think he really is coming up there and getting more in the conversation as a character that might even be able to compete in this tier one day. But definitely not anywhere near the B+ tier anymore. This character is definitely getting up there, no question. Next up is Garnet. I think Garnet is around this area, but I do think that, honestly, Garnet isn't the worst character in the game anymore by any margin. This character is still really strong. I think that she has a lot of good things about her that overall make her a different character. I mean, she does have an insane combo game, insanely early kill confirms, and I mean, even though her kit is a lot different from LeBron, she is kind of in the same way a little bit similar. I've always kind of thought these two characters kind of share a lot of similarities. I mean, the big hurt boxes, a big combo game, early kill confirms, and stuff like that. But again, they both have the same issues, and LeBron kind of does it a lot better because of his insane amount of projectile and stage control, and overall just better hurt boxes and hit boxes. I still think that Garnet is a great contender. She still is really strong and has a lot of players that are showing that she can really do some crazy stuff. Thickwit out there, if you're watching this, great player. Stealth, he doesn't play nearly as much as he used to, but he's also a really good player whenever he did play more multiverses. But again, there's just a lot of players out there that have kind of stuck with this character from the beginning, just like with Taz, and I still think this character just definitely is still slept on in the meta a lot. Next up, Rain Dog. This character is probably, again, I think all, like, these 4 characters are all really close together because they all have shown that they can compete with these, like, these 2 tiers, but I still think that, like, they're still a step up, like, under, like, these characters specifically. But I think, again, Rain Dog's a really good character. He has really good projectiles, good zoning. His, you know, burn effect on his down special is really strong. We all know he's broken as hell in 2v2s. In fact, I want to put him here, but I don't know. But again, there isn't really as many Rain Dogs placing as they used to. Again, Retro kind of leaving the scene for a little bit, taking a break. He did make a small comeback though recently. You know, at I think it was Mayhem, and did really well. And I still think this character is just showing how good he can be, and the commitment to the character is showing that it can still be worth it. Again, I think committing to any 4 of these characters and trying to, like, compete with them is totally reasonable, in Stripe as well. I just think, like, they're not nearly as rewarding as playing these characters. But the thing is that playing one of these 4 characters is a massive investment, because you're investing in them, and you know that they'll be a lot stronger in the meta, like, as later on as they get a little bit more buffs and they get a little bit more help. So you know that, like, regardless if you keep your fundies really good on this character, and just overall have a really solid game plan, then as your character gets stronger, then you'll be prepared to completely overtake the game. You know what I mean? So I think that playing one of these 4 characters is really rewarding, and I still think that right now you can still compete with these characters perfectly fine. And also to acknowledge the fact that they're a massive matchup check. Me personally, I lost to a really good Garnet in bracket a few months ago, Ops to Type. And again, I know Garnet's way worse of a character than Finn is, but I just didn't know the matchup, and he whooped my ass for it, and that's just how it is. These characters are just permanent matchup checks, right? And like, maybe as you play against them more, you'll realize the tier gap. But if you play against them one time, right, you know what I mean? Like, let's say you're playing MMR, or playing ranked or whatever, and you match against like one good Rain Dog, right? It'll totally change your perspective on the character, but you're not going to get against another Rain Dog to confirm that, you know, perspective you have on them, because they're matchup checks. They're not very common. Many people have committed more to the characters in the S minus and S plus tier, and also Superman, of course, too. So it's just like, these characters are definitely just big investments, and also the matchup check is a massive part of their character's strength. Same with Tom and Jerry. Don't really need to say anything else. I think on paper this character, I'll admit, I think on paper this character is definitely better than Rain Dog. I don't know what people have been doing, not being able to place this character, but I mean, even Streamline, who doesn't even main the character, is showing how good this character can be. Just such a good character, heavy projectiles you can just throw around, kill confirms for days, one of the best dares in the game still. Such a good up tilt with his little paddle thing, and overall just so much good stuff that you can use to his advantage. All right, the bottom 3, Black Adam, Velma, and Iron Giant. There's 2 reasons why these characters are down here, okay? First of all of them pretty much have no representation. Literally, all of the Iron Giants play 2s right now. No Iron Giant's gonna, in their right mind, hop into 1s and play against this meta with Superman, Harley, Finn, you know, Morty, you can just desync combo you to death. No Iron Giant in their right mind's gonna hop in 1s right now, dude. This is just not gonna happen. So realistically, we know this character could maybe be here, but there's just not enough representation, and this character is just really, you know, has potential, but just nobody's there to show it. Same thing with Velma. This character, in my opinion, actually has like potential to be here if someone played her, but nobody plays her in this game mode. There's just too many rushdown characters to deal with. There's too many bad matchups that are at the high tier. I think the main reason why Velma will never be strong in this game mode is because of the matchups. Like, this character just can't really do much against you know, these top dogs up here. And the fact of the matter is that no matter how much you practice playing 1s with this character, it's never going to get easier to have to deal with, you know, these characters who are all at the top right now and have really solid matchups on projectile characters, which only Rain Dogs have been able to work around, because even though Rain Dog has a lot of the same strength as Velma has in 1s, Rain Dog still prevails due to the fact that he has a lot more safe combos and just safe things in general he can do. I feel like a lot of the Velma projectiles are a little bit more committal, or they're at least a little bit more easy to deal with. So I think it's this character, again, is just a huge matchup check. I can only really count on 2 hands how many times I've played against a Velma in 1v1s. It's that rare, and it's crazy to me. So definitely a massive matchup check, and I think that's the main reason you should learn this character, is because no one knows how to play against her. She's just so weird in 1s, and it's just very hard to play against her because I don't know what to expect. But Black Adam, again, there's no representation for this character. No one's really playing him in 1s. Ever since the nerfs, I haven't really seen anybody make waves with this character. A lot of the really strong Black Adam players have kind of quit because of the nerfs, kind of overdoing it. And again, I don't think this character is nearly what he used to be. And I just think he could really use some more representation, because I think he could arguably be like Shaggy level, or low S tier level right now if people play him, but nobody plays him. So you have no representation, no data to really show how good he can be. But I still think he's a great character. Again, I still think he's able to compete with the people at the top here. Again, it's just the same problem, no representation. Anybody who made one of these two tiers is like realize how good a matchup check character is in this game. Like in this game, having what, like, we have like well over 20 characters. We have almost 25 characters in this game, right? You can definitely matchup check people because of how common some of these top characters are. You know what I mean? So I think having knowledge to play one of these bottom tiers definitely is worth it. And let it be known that, again, I still think anybody in this tier could be up in this tier, but the problem is just either not enough representation, not showing what the character really could do, or overall just not enough placements. Anyway, guys, this is a complete tier list, including mine plus the opinion of 5 other panelists who made this. I'm honestly pretty unsurprised. Again, the only real thing I was surprised about is because I haven't really played against much Harley this patch, but a lot of the top players are convinced this is like the top one of the top characters right now. That she's really solid, and definitely in the conversation for the top tier, which, you know, definitely surprised me. I didn't know she had gotten this strong again, but very interesting to see. So overall, guys, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Again, if you guys really want to support me, make sure you check out the clothing brand. You already know what I'm saying. You know, we got it rocking today. Really want to see some of you guys in the Lost Group channel rock this merch. I think you guys will look awesome in it. And make sure to send me some pictures if you do end up ordering some. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.